So the number one decider for this election is going to be African Americans. They're going to be the biggest factor for this election coming up. I'm going to explain to you why I think 9 states are going to flip that Donald Trump won in 2016. It has to do with 2016 itself. 2016 is a 9 years, so these 9 states that Trump is going to lose is all happening because of his disastrous coronavirus response, because he didn't bring manufacturing jobs back, because he gave a big tax break to the wealthy, because they were not better off under Donald Trump's presidency. It is because in numerology, numbers with consecutive digits, those do not reduce, and you isolate the month, the day, in the year 2020, in which 2020 is a 4-year, the third day of the month, and 11 is a master number. 11, 22, and 33 don't reduce. So November the 3rd of 2020 is a 18-day, and then 18 reduces down to 9. So election day this year is a 9-day in numerology, and this is why 9 states are going to flip to blue. The blue wave is well on its way. The 116th Congress is in session right now, and what is about to follow this Congress is the blue wave that is going to hit America during the 2020 elections. The blue wave of 2020 that would finally have many Americans, many brainwashed Americans, see that Donald Trump is nothing but a con. I'm talking about those ignoramuses that thought the economy was doing really well. Quite frankly, they don't pay attention to policy at all. There is no excuse. No repeal and replace. No wall. Tax breaks for the wealthy. No infrastructure. Repeal financial and environmental regulations. Alienating our allies. Sucking up the dictators. America is a joke. African Americans are the deciders for this election. It's blue wave that has gematria of 91. It is black vote that has gematria of 91 and 28. What are we talking about? Barack Obama's running mate, Joe Biden. Joe Biden was spurred by African Americans during the Democratic primaries. Bernie Sanders didn't lock in the African American vote. Black voters are going to show up to the voting booths this time around. Black people hated Hillary Clinton. 4.4 million 2012 Obama voters stayed home in 2016, and more than, what was it? I'd have to reload the page. Was it more than a third, or was it more than 2/3 of them were black? More than a third of the voters that stayed home in 2016 were African Americans that voted for Barack Obama. The African Americans that showed up for Joe Biden are going to show up to the voting booths for Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren. They will show up for Elizabeth Warren because Hillary Clinton was hated. She was hated by both the left and the right. Why did people vote for Donald Trump? Because he wasn't Hillary Clinton. Because they didn't like Donald Trump. They voted for him because he wasn't Hillary. Biden was far more likable than Hillary. On top of the pandemic disaster right now. He was already on his way to being Donald Trump. Elizabeth Warren was already on her way to getting in the White House as the first female president. The blacks who voted for Biden are going to vote for Elizabeth if Biden dies before the election. In the prior video, I told you why, even if Biden were to die after being elected, that Warren's the real winner of the election. The female's the real winner of the election. The real winner of the election is Joe Biden's pick for president. The pick, the coronation, it's Elizabeth. Look, all the symbology is right there, and the elite know what's up. They know the support behind Joe Biden. And this brings the recent shooting in Georgia, the shooting of Aubrey. I think it was a runner. It was a runner. The Georgia shooting may have something to do with the narrative of the election. The Georgia shooting and the fact that Georgia in the polls, Joe Biden is leading Trump in Georgia. Stacey Abrams should have won Georgia, but The GOP voter suppression rigged that election. They're having enough of Donald Trump in Georgia. Georgia is far more liberal than all the other states. In relation to the first female president in American history, look at the name Georgia. That is the female name of George. George is masculine. Georgia is female. This is why Georgia has to go blue this time around for the first time since 1992, by the way, which was the last time that a president lost re-election. George H.W. Bush died. I already talked about that. 1992 is 21. The inauguration is the year 21. Perfect. And so this is a beautiful map. This is a beautiful map of the red eagle when you rotate it. But the fact of the matter is that I've come to my senses. Indiana is full of racist, hillbilly trash. Indiana is racist. Indiana is full of bigot trash. They're not going to vote for Biden because they are, in fact, racist. It's because Georgia is going to be the other state that's going to be blue. Only one state in my map changes. So as I've had before, Arizona's blue. Bam. Clinton won 3 percentage points. Joe Biden wins Arizona. Young people, Californians, Latinos, here we go. Make Arizona blue. Florida, they're going blue. Get African Americans, get Florida out to vote. They hated Hillary. This cost them there. Trump barely won Florida. He barely won Wisconsin and Michigan. The stats say so. In fact, Trump won fewer voters than Romney in Wisconsin. Ohio, Trump was a fraud, no manufacturing. Trump's a fraud, no manufacturing in Pennsylvania. Joe Biden's from Pennsylvania. So I've come to my senses here. I really have. Indiana is too racist or whatnot to make this a beautiful map. And, you know, I thought Georgia would not be awake enough, that too many white people would put out their white status symbol card for the Republican Party. The Republican Party is nothing but a white status card for these people. Oh my, all my group of white friends vote Republican. I have to vote Republican too. It's a white status symbol card, which is why 90% of the House representatives of the Republican Party are white, which is why the Democratic Party reflects the true demographics of America as a whole. So Georgia is going blue. Georgia, the female name for George, the fact that Joe Biden has African American support in Georgia, Stacey Abrams' name. They're really enthusiastic about the Democrats. They're really enthusiastic to really kick Donald Trump in the balls. $157 Republican delegates under this electoral votes under this scenario. The fact that Trump's America is really, in fact, liberal and anti-Trump, because the people wanted Hillary. They wanted Bernie back in 2016. They still wanted Democrat, but they hated Trump far more than any other candidate. It shows you how horrible Hillary Clinton was. Arizona. Female connection. We've got Georgia, Arizona, Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female Supreme Court justice nominated by, well, she retired in 2006, I think it was. Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female Supreme Court justice, came from the great state of Arizona. This is why Arizona is going blue. Now, North Carolina, Joe Biden has gematria of 37, and so does Carolina. Not only was South Carolina the first state that Joe Biden won in the Democratic primaries, but he's going to also win North Carolina. North Carolina also turned blue for Obama. Michigan is going blue. They are well ahead of the game. Joe Biden in Michigan. Michigan is going to turn blue towards the 46th president. When we talk about Georgia, the reason why Georgia is going to be blue for the first time since Bill Clinton, it is because of the coronavirus outbreak. It predominantly hits African American communities. African Americans need to get out there and get Donald Trump out of office because he is a big threat to their own welfare and well-being. the coronavirus affecting African Americans. They are really the deciding voter. They're the deciding voter demographic. I'm not even going to say it. It's elderly people of Trump dying, or the fact that elderly people are starting to turn on Donald Trump. Everybody is turning on Trump. All of them are. They know he's a big, giant disaster. Let's add up all of the electoral votes that Trump is going to lose to the 9 states that went for Donald in 2016, got conned by the big reality TV scam. It was all for show. They wanted a game host. They didn't want a president. And all this is a total of 141 electoral votes that would go towards the Democrats. World War III, as Jumanji of 141. Donald Trump got played by Vladimir Putin and the Chinese and the China Wuhan virus. They let it go. They devastated America. World War III. I know it's worst president that has gematria of, what you call it, 141. I will send the rest of my references, by the way. I think this is going to take care of it. I would have to go back to my World War III video to get the rest of the 141 references, but at least this is a start that World War III may have something to do with the Xi-Putin virus leak out there. No doubt about it. I will send the rest of these references of 141 that I have done a couple years ago, probably. I didn't think it was 2018. Georgia, it is. Finally, I've come to my senses. This is a beautiful map. But you know my saying, telling it like it is. Facts over feelings. It's going to be Georgia instead of Indiana. Indiana's full of racist hicks. The black people are going to decide the election. You know it, and I know it. And people did not vote for Trump because he was all great for America. Because people voted for Trump because he wasn't Hillary. Not because Trump was a good candidate. That's how bent and backwards the Republican Party is. Here in Arizona, yes, we're going blue. We are a blue state. And up next, since the election is practically over, let's talk about the Senate. Of course, let's do it.